now coming on through the garage of where I live, and the guy that I'm walking next to had a little bit of an accent, and I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Oh, I was born in Jamaica." I said, "Oh, that's a beautiful island," and it is. I've been there, and for those of you who have been there, it's just beautiful. I said, How long have you been here?" "Well, we moved here when I was 14, and that was when I got here, my first day at school. That's the first time I ever was exposed to prejudice. I had never ever heard a word that began with an N applied to me. In my country, there was no such thing." And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, what a horrific greeting from the land of the free, that already you're discriminated against and you're so-called different and so-called not as good as." And this whole thing was happening as we're walking through the garage, and my heart is breaking for this guy that's now in his 30s, and he's telling me a story of his childhood. And I felt very honored that he's telling me this story. And I don't know, by the time we got upstairs, I loved him even more because of the discouragement of what he'd had to face. So these two guys got the thing all hooked in and good to go. But Friday just happened to have been election day. And it happened to be noontime. Now, I'm not one that really has political leanings. My leaning is toward, could you all get along together? Could you give each other a chance, no matter what your party, no matter what your color, no matter what your belief system? My vision is bigger for human beings. So at noontime, and I had been kind of trying to watch this thing and be ready for the right moment, because no matter what, we've picked a new leader for good, bad, or indifferent. And it's my job to support the leader. If I work for somebody, I got to support the boss. If I'm in a class, I've got to support the teacher. I might not like the person, but I got to support it. That's kind of like the job of a citizen. So I said to these guys, "Oh, could you just stop what you're doing?" And they were startled. They didn't know whether they had done something incorrect. I said, No, this is a very important day. We're getting a shift of power. Please come in the living room and see this with me. Well, I looked and said, "Will you get in trouble with your boss?" And the guy from Jamaica kind of smiled and very puffed out. And I loved him for this. He said, "I am my own boss." I said, "Good. Come in this living room right now." And I stood between these great big hulking guys. And trust me, they towered over me. And I very firmly but very calmly put my arms around both of them as if they were my children. And I said, "Look at this. Isn't this something that's happening today? And here we are all together. And underneath whatever skin color I have and you have, I have the same color blood as you." And we just stood there embracing for the entire time of a new leader's speech. And it was the most touching, beautiful bonding. And as this new leader was speaking, the guy from Jamaica, I actually don't know where the other one was from, and he was equally as dear to me, if not more so, because I could really feel his energy, and it was very large and wonderful. So the guy from Jamaica starts like this. Well, the guy has a smirk. How come he doesn't ever smile? He went on with, "I don't like his face." And finally, I had to laugh out loud and said, "Wait a second. You don't like him because he's got a smirk? You're kidding, right? You're teasing me. Because you were so discriminated against because of something you couldn't help. It's the guy's face, for corn's sake. His face is what it is. He might not even know. It's not a smirk to him. It's how his face is." And I thought to myself as I was hugging these guys, when does it stop? When does the judgment stop? When does the silliness stop? I don't like your face. Really? Excuse me? I don't like the fact that you limp. I don't like the fact that you're white. I don't like the fact that you're autistic. I don't like the fact that you didn't go to the school I did. What's happened here? What has happened to the core of America, which is love and integrity, all for one? I was astounded. I loved him through it. And at the end, you know what? He saw our new leader from a totally different perspective. And he understood that, whether we like him or not, give this man a chance. I want people to give me a chance, no matter where I go. And I'm not a leader. I'm just a sensitive being who's pretending to be an earthling right now. But I want that chance. I want that chance to be a little unique and different, as you all not only should want it, you deserve it. So in this new year, holy smokes, I know some of you have probably now clicked off the radio because I keep beating the same drum saying, when can we go back to who we truly are? Which is really pretty darn important. Who you are is the breath of God. When are you going to behave accordingly? When are you going to own that? When are you going to recognize that in me? Because I'm surely beginning to recognize it in you. I don't like the fact that this guy was criticizing somebody's face. But I loved him and saw the God in him. And as I saw it, he stepped up to the plate. And he's a little less edgy, a little less judgmental, a lot less critical, a lot less... Isn't it odd? In his own way, he was superior. Here, a child who had been harmed at 14 and now grows to be 34... You see the incongruity of the entire mess that only people have created, and so only people are going to take themselves out of it. And what I've learned in this past year, and if you don't want to take yourself out of it, that's your privilege. It's your privilege, but I will caution you. It's a dangerous privilege that you are harboring. Because I have studied energy now for, I'm afraid to say, easily 45 years. I see how it works. I got it. I got it down pat. So when I tell you your chances of you drawing unto you what's not going to be so happy, trust me, I know from whence I speak. You don't study something for 45 years without any results being seen over the years. It's like I've been this research analyst watching what people say. I've heard people actually say about our new leader, he should be killed. You know what that brings to the person who said that? Their chances of being killed went from 0 to off the radar. And that's how energy works. Sorry, folks. It's clean. It's clear. Energy knows exactly what it's doing. There are laws in the energy field, and when you violate them, you'll get smacked down, good and hard. So that's my little tailspin on the moving thing, but it really was delicious and delightful to have these two guys in my home and to have that sacred time of birthing potentially a new world with so-called strangers, but they weren't strangers to me. In that moment, they were my siblings, they were my children, they were my brothers, they were my best friends. And how magical. It doesn't get any better. That made my day. Okay, so anyway, who's speaking to you here? What's happening? I'm Elaine Bartlett, and you have been listening very patiently to my tirade, and this is the Purple Portal. I do encourage you to go to my website, www.higherconsciousness.com, because you can poke around. You can learn some stuff on it. Hopefully, maybe in the next couple of days, maybe I will get some information more about the coming year. I don't like to really promise that at this point because my most beloved web designer, she's actually taken a full-time job, and it's so good for her and it's so wonderful, and I so miss her. So we'll see what I can do. I know I should be getting some YouTube things up there, and she mapped it all out for me last year, and geez, I don't even know where I put the notes, but I'll find them and get going on it. I do have a wonderful new book that's just coming out. I haven't even officially sent out the birth announcements on it, but it is called The Prosperity Portal, and it is a gateway to the land of plenty. And it's easy, it's quick, it's on a CD, it's on an ebook, and I have just ordered it and should be now in another week in hard copy. So poke around there and support the light and support me and support yourself and learn about the easy ways to align yourself with the prosperity that's inside of you. So that's a happy thing on my website. This Saturday is the changing of the guard for the animal signs. We're leaving the sign of the monkey. So those of you who have been swinging from branch to branch all last year, some in great consternation and chaos, that's going to settle down a lot. Some of the chaos will naturally go. You should stop swinging from branch to branch and now focus on your inner song, because it's the rooster year. So what do you want to sing? What do you want to shout out to the world? Do you want to continue to shout out your discord, your disagreement, your lack of harmony? Do you really want to color my beautiful world with that stuff? Please think twice. I care about what I put out for you. I want you to breathe in rainbows. I want you to breathe in pinks and purples, because all the colors of the rainbow carry a frequency for your more enlightened song. It's true what your mama told you, or she should have told you. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And at this point, I would say if you can't say anything nice, stay home. Stay home and stop marching, for God's sake. It's off kilter. And I have lost some friendships about this because there's lack of harmony. Because I say, be that beautiful rainbow that you are, right smack where you are. That's how you're going to contribute. This other stuff is dangerous. It's militant. It's very dangerous. You're not going to change the course of a leader. That's divine destiny. So think it through carefully. Think it through very carefully. And for those of you who no longer want to talk to me about it, I appreciate that, and I accept that, and I value where you are. I would hold the vision for you that you could shine your colors brightly again and sing your song. Your song is magical. It's unique. It's special unto you. And some of you are singing mixed songs. You actually are going to ascension classes and then singing a very low frequency song. You can't have your feet in both boats. It won't work that way. The Chinese actually illustrate this by a picture of a man standing in a river. And he actually has one foot in one rowboat and the other foot in another rowboat. It looks uncomfortable. And all you can vision is the tide of the river coming, pulling this guy, splitting him apart. And that's what your mixed frequency does. It splits you apart. It splits families apart. It splits friendships apart. Not that we're all going to see things exactly the same. That's impossible. And nor is it too wise. But my desire for you is that you honor your song, just your song. No manipulating anybody else's